Okay, let's get started. It is Monday, July 27th, 2020, 9 a.m. Wilson County Commissioners Court is now in session. We'll have the opening prayer by Pastor Adam Knapp of the Floresville United Methodist Church. Pastor Knapp.
Please bow your heads and your hearts with me. Lord, you are still good. Your love still endures forever. These are the words of the Psalms, and these are the words we believe. In this season, in this day, we ask for your presence, your power, your mercy to shine on us and work through us. I pray for the proceedings here, and I pray for each individual here and on conference call, that they may have your presence abiding with them, and they have your peace. That we might all shine your glory to a world in need. We pray this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I undertake this flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you for you and your associate Pat for coming by.
Bye.
Okay, agenda item number 3, public comments, and we have right now, as I think, 5. So, and they're all going to be telephoned in, so I'm going to start calling them now. Hello, Jamie Mann?
Yes.
Okay, this is Judge Jackson, and we've got you on teleconference for a public comment in Commissioner's Court.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you can start now.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to take the opportunity for the people's voice to be heard. The decision that y'all made to take your one shot and raise taxes without a vote is taking advantage of the people of Wilson County. It's taking advantage of the emergency declaration. Governor Abbott even requested that the taxes not be raised during this time. And with Wilson County, less than half of 1% of our population even has COVID. There's nothing to justify wanting to increase it up to 8%. This is a prime example of fiscal irresponsibility. The majority of the people here will have a reduced annual income. Just because the fourth government interventions were shut down, furloughed, family sickness. And so to raise taxes during this time, without even any reason, is not only irresponsible, but it shows that there is complete lack of integrity. If our voices aren't heard right now, they will be with the next election. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go to the next call. Okay.
Magic Jack customer you have called is unavailable to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
This is Judge Jackson from Commissioners Court calling for a public comment. Thank you.
Okay, and you've got 3 more.
You got them right here. Yes.
This is Judy Richardson. I'm not available to take your call at this time. Please leave a message. Thank you. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Ms. Wiggington, this is Judge Jackson from Commissioners Court calling for a public comment. Thank you. Were these people aware that they were going to be called?
Yes,
Okay.
but we have to call them, we have to try 3 times.
Okay,
says-
now when I get through, I'll go back through it again.
Hello.
Hello, Paul Wiggington? Mr. Wiggington? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Wiggington, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Wiggington? Hello?
Hello.
Mr. Wiggington, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay, this is Judge Jackson from Commissioners Court calling for a public comment.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, if you'd like to go ahead and start now?
Sure.
Okay.
My notes here. Okay, my comments, I said a few written down here. First of all, my first comment would be, what would the increase be used for? If we don't know what if the increase is even needed or what it's going to be used for, then why would we even propose it? Especially at an 8%. I mean, just because we can doesn't mean that we should propose an increase, especially if we have no idea what it's going to be used for. There are a lot of people in Wilson County who've been affected by the COVID-19. Some have lost jobs, some have been furloughed, some have had their hours cut back. So any kind of increase, in my opinion, would not be reasonable to ask of the citizens of Wilson County. My other question or comment would be, we look at budget cuts. Like many of us who have budgets for our own household. I would like to have an 8% increase in my budget for my household, but if we don't have the funds, or if I am not going to make more money, I have to look at cutting back if I need to. So have we looked at areas where we can cut back and save money in our budget and get, if funds are needed, get it from the cutback. And the last comment here, I just think it's irresponsible to come up to propose an 8% increase, again, for, just because we can, with no stated needs, or if we need it, or what it would be used for, without looking at all of the opportunities or options for cutting back or redirecting funds from other areas, to see what we can do to meet our needs. Those are all my comments. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Wiggins, before you go, evidently your wife, Judy Wigginton, excuse me. I just tried to call her. Is she available? And I will call her on her number, because it's all the same address. I'm sure y'all are at the same household.
Pardon? Yes.
Okay, tell Ms. Wiggins I'm fixing to call her on her number.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm right here.
Okay. Would you like to make a comment on this number?
Oh, sure, I can do that.
Okay.
Let me get my notes here in front of me. I wasn't here when my husband said everything that he had to say, but he and I are the same opinion. And I have some questions for the commission, or for the panel. And I understand that we're not really able to ask questions, but I think I also have the answer. So, one of the things that I would like to say, is this being recorded, perchance?
It is.
Okay, good. That's actually good. Thank you. So I just see a big red flag when anyone on the commission begins a conversation with, let's do this now, because otherwise we will have to get voter approval. And why not allow voters to approve? Why not let us make decisions for ourselves? So is the commission saying that you know better for us than what we know for ourselves? Because we voted for you guys. We're counting on you to be representatives of us, not to circumvent us, not to take us out of the picture. Is this rate increase truly necessary? And my question would be, why? Why is it necessary? And I understand what you're saying. But we're not increasing. We're only doing it if we need to. We want to have the option if we need to. But your budget is not final. You've not named one line item on the budget that is for the purpose of this COVID emergency. If we truly have expenses related to COVID, and you guys want to present that to the commission or to the panel, then please do. I think that makes perfect sense. But it has no integrity, none whatsoever, to say, oh, we're just going to increase this not to exceed 8%. This is just an option if we need to. If you need to what? You have not provided us with what? And I think that's unfair. It has no integrity for you to say, our budget is not final. This is just in case. And, this is we can't wait. This is a one-time shot. We had 241 COVID cases in the county census of about 52,000. That's less than 0.5% of cases. If we have expenses in our county that are related to COVID, then by all means, we should put that before the voters and say, please, we have these expenses. These are legitimate reasons why we should take advantage of this up to 8%. I would be all for it. But here's the thing. Currently, our roll value is whatever it is. Our 2020 budget was $23 million. And that's at 3.5%, I'm assuming. So even if you didn't go to 8%, even if you went to 3.5%, that would mean that would double our 2020 budget and make it $46 million. There is no way that we have that kind of expense. And even if it's for 1 year, it just makes no sense. If the money is being spent for the right reasons, then there is no way that we would even go to 1%. Because you cannot justify the spending. And if the plan is to take that money and do something other than take care of the emergency, that has absolutely no integrity it just does not make sense to me. It does not make sense to anyone that I've spoken to about it. And it feels corrupt. And I hate to use that word because you guys, we're all in this together. You guys are people from my community, from my county. We voted for you to be there. But it surely is raising a red flag in my household. And we are extremely concerned with the lackadaisical attitude that everyone has. Oh, it's just in case. Not going to exceed 8%. This is just an option if we need to. Seriously? It is extremely upsetting to me.
Ms. Wiggington, I hate to say it, but you've gone past 3 minutes.
Okay, I understand.
That's what it's
I was just going to talk until you told me to stop, but I
Okay.
do appreciate you guys. Well, I have a lot to say. And I appreciate you guys taking the time. I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving us to be heard. And I just want to thank you all. And I thank you for the service that you've given us. I know you guys don't have an easy job, and you're not going to be able to make everyone happy. But I do appreciate the work that you put in to support us and to represent us in the Wilson County. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I'll take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello, Lydia Dow.
Yes.
Now, this is Judge Jackson in Commissioner's Court, and we're calling for the public comment.
Yes.
Okay, you can start anytime.
Well, this is about the property taxes, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Or whatever you want to talk about. Excuse me.
Well, I'd like to speak about the taxes. We have recently moved into the area, and the taxes are rather high. Both my husband and I are retirees. We pay the taxes because we love the area we live in, but if it goes up too much more, we're not going to be able to afford to stay in the area. And I see that a lot of the people that live in this area have the same concerns. So that was just my concern, and I'm hoping that the taxes won't be going up too much, or not to a point of where people are driven out of their homes. And that's really the main concern that I have is the property taxes.
Okay. Do you have anything else you'd like to address? We appreciate you, just calling in.
No, thank you. That's it for right now. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is that all of them?
Michael Parrish, did we ever get him?
Thank y'all. Is it one more?
There's one.
Michael Parrish, did his call go through?
Michael?
Parrish? I think that call didn't go through, right?
Oh, okay. We'll try. I thought I got, when I went back and got Miss Wiggington, I got them all.
The Magic Jack customer you have called.
Okay.
and then we gotta try one more time
One
on
more
him.
time.
And then that ought to be it.
The Magic Jack customer you have called is unavailable to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Mr. Parrish, this is Judge Johnson in Commissioner's Court. This is the third call that we have for public comments. Thank you. Okay, so, we've done that. Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
On to agenda item number 4, certificates of completion and awards. Here we have done. So we're moving right along to agenda item number 5. Paul Fowl, Commissioner Precinct 2, Jalen Botford, Human Resources. 5A, discuss and take action on changing our dental carrier from MetLife to Equitable.
Okay, so Equitable, well, let me start by saying MetLife, when we went through renewal process, MetLife increased by 17% this year. So we did shop the dental carriers. Equitable came back as the best option. Equitable has purchased Blue Cross Blue Shield's dental plan. The plan is exactly the same as the MetLife plan that we had before. The only difference is this one is cheaper. So for an employee by themselves, we're looking at saving $7 per month, and an employee with family would save $22 per month. These, like I said, this one is exact comparison to what we had before, just a different company without the rate increase.
Sounds like a deal to me.
Judge, I make a motion that we go ahead and...
Hang on, Commissioner Wiley and Commissioner Hyatt,
Yeah,
did y'all hear that?
yeah, yes, it is.
Okay,
I make a motion that we move to change the dental carrier from MetLife to Equitable.
okay, there's been a motion by Commissioner Fowl
I'll second.
and a second by Commissioner Wiley to change our dental coverage from MetLife to Equitable. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. So we have a new dental carrier. Now we're going to 5B, discuss and take action on offering an air and ground ambulance policy, MASA, to employees.
Okay, so, right now, the only thing that we offer employees is Air Med, which is the Methodist, helicopter that flies. That one costs the employee $6 per month, and like I said, it only covers that helicopter. This plan that I am proposing covers every helicopter that we have in this area. This would be $14 per month, and it covers all of the U.S. and Canada. This also covers spouses and domestic partners and dependents up to the age of 26 at $14 per month. If you guys vote on this, I would like for this to take the place of Air Med so that it can be one company covering all. I know you and I had met with AirLife, and they don't do they weren't offering our policies
No.
anymore.
They were, all they were offering was negotiations.
Yes, so this one actually covers all of the ones that we have in the area, ground or air, for $14 per month.
Okay, did you mention that it covered ground care too, or the regular EMS
Yes.
ambulances?
Yes,
Also,
it does.
okay.
It's sure
I
does.
think it's a heck of a deal if
It is.
employees want, it's their option to do it, but I think it's a good deal for them.
And that covers the whole family, correct?
It does, and we had a situation a month or so ago where we had an employee that was airlifted. She was paying for the Air Med service. That is not who picked her up. So she's out on that situation. So we had this one. That's right. If we had this one, it would have covered the problems that we have.
I'll make a motion, go ahead and accept that.
Motion by Commissioner Gomez,
Second.
second by Commissioner Fowl. Commissioner Hyde and Commissioner Wiley, did y'all understand all of that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we got them.
As quality as the guy from Caddo County.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second here in the court. I'm gonna call for any more discussion. Do y'all have any questions? Okay, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor?
Judge, one question.
Oh, whoa.
Do you know if it covers, if the people, citizens of the county, can they get on this policy, or do you know?
That I can ask. I just know for employees at this point, but I can ask that question.
Gentlemen, are both of these October 1?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Okay. Any more questions or discussion? Okay, now all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item number 6, Richard L. Jackson County Judge Michelle Motor, Grants Manager. 6A, discuss and take action on hiring a partially grant-funded assistant position for the Grants Management Department.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I am here to request currently, about 80% of my duties and responsibilities are COVID related. And I do know that one of our grants does cover salaries and payroll. In order for me to start researching and looking for other things that we might need, you know, transportation related or whatever, I need some more time and I need some help. So the CRF grant that you're seeing as third from the bottom would cover this position up until December 30th, the salary for that position.
Up until when?
December 30th of this year.
All right.
And obviously, at least 80% of that person's salary, 80% of that person's time would need to be, you know, directly related to COVID. So that would be fully covered under CRF grant funds. Moving forward, beyond December 30th, I am looking into trying to find other grants that we could potentially use to also cover this person's salary, or as an in-kind match for some of the grants. This would allow me to keep looking. I know there are numerous needs for the county, and there's numerous grants out there. Right now, everything's happening kind of organically, word of mouth. But a lot of my time is COVID related, and I have a lot of projects for this new person right now to kind of take over and run with my oversight, of course. I did discuss this with Brenda, and she and I kind of worked up the numbers, and she's got the numbers if you have any questions on those actually detailed numbers.
Judge, Ms. Moore has done a phenomenal job, not only researching but getting grants for the county and save the county a tremendous amount of money in the short time she's been here. Knowing how tedious grants can be, since I've read 4 of them, and she's overwhelmed with this COVID reporting system, and knowing that the funds available she could get for us with an assistant in the future would save the county a lot of money and would be well worth the investment of the assistant. So I'll make a motion that we hire this assistant for Ms. Moore.
Okay.
Judge, I don't disagree with any of, well, with most of that. Michelle has done an incredible job, and I am thrilled with what she's done. My only issue would be if we, what do we do if we're past December the 31st if we're not able to get another grant? I guess by then this individual would have had an opportunity to additionally show their work, and everything everything might be fine, but in the environment that we're in, if we can't get it funded past that, and that would be my caveat. What do we do after that fact? There was all the concerns about increasing our taxes this morning from the folks, and I've had several calls as well. I think it's great to get someone, and again, they may be able to prove their worth, but my issue would be after December the 31st, what do we do?
Mr. Wiley, this is Brenda.
Yes.
Okay, so I did the math and I just wanted to explain to you guys. So part of Michelle's current salary that you all approved back in March is actually being covered by one of the grants. So the county, in essence, is saving about $12,000 just in Michelle's salary alone. So that, along with a confirmed, well, I say confirmed, we received confirmation that we will more than likely be awarded the ACOG collection facility grant that's coming around the corner. We should know this week, or receive that contract confirmation this week. And so $10,000 from that grant would be used to offset this salary as well. So for the duration of the new fiscal year, we could potentially look at no cost, no extended cost to our taxpayers to fund this position. I am going to ask that the county does commit a portion of it because we don't know for sure any other future grants that could potentially offset the salary between now and next September 30th. But I am confident that we have enough in grants to cover us through the new fiscal year.
Okay. Do we make, and I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, let me say again, I am thrilled with the job that's been done. I just am trying to be prudent about it. Do we communicate that to the person that we hire as look?
Absolutely.
There's a chance?
Absolutely. As Michelle has drafted a really good job description, and it is titled as a grant funded position. The county actually has currently three other grant funded positions in our county attorney's office, and I spoke with Mr. Caldwell last week just to confirm that those employees are aware and how that communication goes as well, and they are all aware as well. So it is something that this new hire would definitely be made aware of upfront.
All right, that's all I wanted to know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a question for Michelle, or whoever can answer it. Okay, after December 31st, will there be anything available where's CARES gonna go? Is it gonna still be, will there be a possibility of getting some of your salary funded then?
Possibly. I mean, we're kind of, so one of the big things that I've got to look for come September and October is the Congress's appropriations bill. And that identifies all the discretionary funding. And there's blurbs on the internet talking about an extension in CARES money and stuff like that. So we're kind of in a waiting game to find out what's going to be available after December 30th.
Okay.
But I'm positive that there will be something.
The list that Michelle has provided before you with the 11 current grants that we're working on now, most of all of those grants, you can allocate a portion of salaries to them. So Michelle has been doing a really good job at tracking all of her hours. So to answer your question, Judge Jackson, between October and December, part of Michelle's salary is also covered in that. So that's less of out of the county's pocket that we are going to have to cover on Michelle's side. And that's just on the CARES side of it. That's not even including additional grants, the TxDOT and.
And the amount, or the total amount of grants applied for, or whatever?
Right now.
Right now is $1,562,000?
That is correct.
Okay.
But after the 30th, if we do not get funded through the grant, then we have to pick up that employee's pay, or that employee will be let go?
Okay, so what I said earlier is we have enough grant funding to carry the employee through September 30th of next year based on this list of grants that Michelle has put in place. But I am asking that the county put forth a commitment of a partial salary for that employee, because these are just current grants right now that will cover that person. We don't know, she hasn't had the time to research additional grants. So this is not just a part-time person through December 30th. This would actually be through September 30th of next year. And it would be at minimal cost to the county right now, but you have to consider this would be a full-time position where we would have to cover for benefits as well.
But I mean, they would come out of next year's budget.
Correct.
21 budget that the judge would have to look at.
Yes, that is correct.
The
That is
budget
correct.
you're working on now, it would not affect, if I understand you correctly.
That is correct. Yes.
It's covered until September of next year, then we're gonna have to
Yeah,
look.
then you have to look at it.
Right.
But basically,
And
they
they'll have
Right now, we're about we're about $7,500, plus the benefits that we would be looking at, that we would tag into like the tech stop grants and things like that. But we can't, without getting into those grant details right now to determine how much of the salary we can allocate to each of those grants, I can't give you that solid number of what it is.
But basically, both employees will be covered by grants till September.
That is not a fact. No, Michelle's.
Hers is not.
Michelle's is not. Part of Michelle's is, but that is just because as a benefit to the county, but you had already approved her
Right.
full salary as a position, correct?
But we've got, as of when, $12,000 already that's been compensated
this
for
year.
her salary.
Right.
Because of what she's doing with COVID.
Correct.
But this other person's salary will be basically covered through grants till end of next year's budget.
That is correct.
We're not having to increase the 21 budget.
That is correct. I will say though that, in the event that we decide not to use these grant funds to fund this grant funded position, Michelle's duties are gonna have to be put on hold in terms of future grant research, because all of the grant reporting hasn't even started for these 11 grants, and that requires a great deal of work. All of the financial status reports, all of the invoices that have to be made, copies of invoices. It's just a lot of legwork. So if she's gonna be responsible for managing all of these alone, I just need you all to be fully aware that that will consume 100%, if not more of her time, that she will not have time to research other grant opportunities for the county next fiscal year.
Yeah, when you consider the revenue generated through the grant, saving the county money in their budget, for these other projects that we're doing, I think that more than pays for, Michelle's salary and the, assistant's salary, when you look at what we save by getting the grant money.
Now, I have done all I can do to prepare in advance on the reporting side of it for this COVID stuff. Already making copies of invoices, already putting it into a spreadsheet, but there's no formal knowledge of what the grantors are gonna request after I get it inputted. So one of the things that ACOG did was, well, now you're gonna have to put each separate line item into our portal. So even though I put it into a spreadsheet, detailed everything, they want it, and that's something that's very time consuming. So, just, yeah.
What is this person gonna get salary-wise?
$18.27 an hour.
18 what?
$18.27 an hour.
I said it before, I think today, Michelle is certainly proving herself. I have a frame I'm gonna have to buy, I believe, the completion of the grant. I don't have a problem with it, again, as long as the understanding with whoever we hire Hopefully it's a long-term position, but it will be depending upon, the availability of grants, what it is that we bring in. I had no idea. We always talked about the fact that at some point we wanted to grant, someone to do grants. But, and I knew there was some out there, I had no idea of what might be available. And I'm thrilled. I just, was concerned about, with everything that we're talking about, again, the limit in the future of the tax rate. And of course, the folks don't fully understand the impact of that, but I understand their concern. I just didn't want to put, I don't want to add any more than we have to that puts a buy-in on future budgets. But I'm cool with it.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'm cool with it, because I think there is a real possibility that this position would fund itself. But if it doesn't, then I just don't want someone would want to, I wouldn't want to hire someone under false pretense, is what I'm saying. Because when we do the next budget.
It's good for a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And surely-
It'll come the next.
Surely in a year, we're gonna be able to find funding for it for the next year.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And I am in favor of it. That's my concern. Not this year. The concern is next year, and just the understanding that if we can't find funding, then we may have to terminate the position.
It's one of the county that helps generate revenue, instead of creating expenditures.
I agree with that, and it has potential for that.
Okay, I've got a motion,
Second.
second by Commissioner Gomez. Okay, is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the grant position, or the grant position for an assistant is, okay. So we're going to 6B, discuss and approve the resolution and agreement to accept the TxDOT County Transportation Infrastructure Fund, CTIF, grant program allocation to Wilson County.
All right. I think I mentioned to most of you, we did get word back about additional money from the counties that did not apply for the Transportation Infrastructure Fund. So the total amount to Wilson County at this point is $430,205. $20% of that is $80,641. That 20% is the local county match. Obviously, this would go into effect next budget year. So in order to receive those grant monies, we have to do a resolution and approve the actual agreement and the new prioritized list. In conversations with Leanne, she came with the whole packet. And I know that the commissioners haven't had a chance to look over the list to kind of thin out and meet that $430,000 threshold. So we have an opportunity to either approve the agreement as is, the resolution, and then I would basically have to come back to Commissioners Court with that prioritized list that meets that $430,000 threshold, or we table this for now and do it all in one.
Okay.
Would you say prioritize
Here at the end is what she said.
Oh, hang on.
I talked to Leanne about this at the last program call back in 2013, 2014, and she came to the court at that point with the whole package complete. The one thing that we haven't talked about, the one thing that the commissioners haven't done yet is thin out that prioritized list of projects. And that is needed in order to complete and submit a final agreement as well as a resolution. So the option.
Well, I would say that part of that too is in order to send it out, we're going to have to determine how it's gonna be allocated.
Correct.
And then, once we determine that, then we've got some base to send it out.
Sure,
But until we do that, I don't know how you do it.
correct. So the options are to table this for when you all had that opportunity to thin out those, determine the allocations and thin out those project lists, that prioritized project list, or to approve the resolution and agreement as is, and then I come back before with that prioritized list in order to complete the package. I believe it's fine.
Okay, would there be anything wrong with going ahead and approving this now? And then surely everybody's gonna come back with their list.
So,
Yeah, but.
I thought we already had the list.
we do have a list, and I do have it right here, but that was our wish list,
Right.
right? So this came out to over $1 million. You have $430,000 to work with, which we knew that it was not gonna be $1 million. But now what we have to do in order to submit this package in its entirety and completeness, we have to basically eliminate some of these to get to that $430,000.
This, select the ones on the list that meet that monetary threshold and approve that.
Yes.
So out of the 430, there's only 3% that apply for that grant, or is the whole 4 precincts? 3.
So,
And right now, what's on the list are 4 projects from precinct 2, 3 projects from precinct 4, and 3 projects from precinct 1. If we
okay, do y'all think y'all be able to agree on which
If we
one's
do
the
the
fun?
resolution and the agreement now, then, you basically have to determine allocation and projects within 30 days.
Well, we had the same situation a few years ago, Judge, and we were able to figure it out then. It was just a matter of sitting down, but the difference between the monies that we asked for and what we received at that point, I don't believe was as great as this is.
Right.
And so, or as diverse, as the last time, and tell me if I'm wrong, Commissioner File, but Commissioner File had by far, he had the largest, I was second, and I think we were the only two that qualified the last time. And he and I just sat down and came up with a reasonable understanding, and the reasonable understanding was that at that point, he had a lot more impact. And so I got money that was able to make a difference with the larger share with him, and that's the way that it should have been. So he and I just sat down and talked it through.
I have a question.
But now it's real varied because, what Commissioner File put down was considerably more than what I put down, and what I put down, I believe, is considerably more than what Albert put down. And so we're gonna have to figure out what's gonna be fair to everyone.
I have a question for Michelle. Everything on the wish list is approved. You just gotta figure out which ones that our commissioners want to
Yeah.
go forward with.
I can definitely reach out to TxDOT to see if they would take this prioritized list as is, but
Well, I'm not saying that, but we can get along enough to be able to be sure we get the grant. If y'all wanna go ahead and approve.
But Commissioner Wiley, correct me also if I'm wrong, last time we went ahead and submitted the road that we had, but as we started working down the roads and we cut the roads off, and we didn't have, ran out of funds.
Right, and I think y'all added a road too.
But we still submitted everything, no,
No, you had to do a prioritized list.
Right, prioritized
And
list.
that money amount had to match
right.
the amount from TxDOT. So it did not have every single one of the projects y'all
No, we didn't
originally
do all the
thought.
projects that we had on the list originally.
No, not at all. But you and I got together and looked at the money, and essentially you said, these are really, really important to me. And I looked at it together, and again, it was clear that the larger portion should go to you, and I didn't have a problem with that at all. And the larger portion may well need to go to you again. But it's a matter of the three of us. At the end of this, everybody needs to be as happy as they can be, which may or may not be possible.
Well, what if, we split it, 3 ways? And, we split it 3 ways, we get 143,000 each. And
Well,
then
you
that
wanna
way,
go on projects,
that way at least we can prioritize the roads.
That's something I think that we probably need to, well, I don't know how we meet and talk about that without it being
Yeah,
another court.
she's just asking.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if y'all would like, I mean, like, I can definitely read the resolution right now. You can approve the agreement, you can approve the resolution, and then within 30 days, you all agree to meet and determine the allocation, determine the new updated priority project list, and then I can take that list, put it on the court, just as an update, and then submit the package, the complete package.
Yeah, we absolutely need to approve it. I'm just trying to set.
Let's go ahead with approving the resolution, and then we will,
Yep.
arm wrestle or whatever for the,
And Kathy has already reviewed the grant agreement and the resolution, so.
Well, I make a motion to accept, to go ahead and do the resolution.
okay, motion by Commissioner Gomez. Second by Commissioner Fowle. If we go ahead and approve the resolution, and then we'll work out the projects that are gonna be selected, correct? What's that? Okay, go right ahead. Okay, Michelle's gonna read the resolution.
Resolution in order approving and accepting the Texas Department of Transportation County Transportation Infrastructure Fund Grant Program to the County of Wilson, authorizing Richard L. Jackson, County Judge, to act on behalf of the County of Wilson in all matters related to the grant and agreement, and making specific findings required by the Texas Department of Transportation. Whereas Wilson County has received notice of eligible grant award from the Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT, in the amount of $430,205. And whereas the Commissioners Court of Wilson County has determined that it is in the best interest of the citizens of Wilson County to enter into an agreement with TxDOT concerning the County Transportation Infrastructure Fund Grant Program. And whereas TxDOT has created the CTIF grant program implementation procedures that Wilson County is required to follow to receive the grant funding. And now therefore be it resolved by the Commissioners Court of Wilson County, Texas, at its regular meeting in Floresville, Texas on July 27, 2020, hereby unanimously votes to approve and accept grant funds from the CTIF program authorized by the Texas Department of Transportation. And further, that Wilson County designates the County Judge of Wilson County as its county representative and authorizes the county representative to sign all project-related documents on behalf of the county, including any certifications required by the grant program. And further, that the Wilson County Commissioners Court hereby approves the attached revised priority list of road projects to be funded with the CTIF grant. And further, that the Commissioners Court of Wilson County makes the following findings in the exercise of discretion and authority extended to said Commissioners Court by Texas law. Such findings are made upon due inquiry and satisfactory proof that such findings are factual and based upon commonly accepted practices and standards by Texas County. It is the finding of this Commissioners Court that the county has experience in the construction and maintenance of all county roads currently in the county road maintenance inventory, that the county has suitable equipment, experience, and personnel to properly repair such roads without the utilization of outside contractors. Or if such contractors are required in the prudent expenditure of county and grant funds, that such contractors will be selected upon demonstrated competence and the lowest and most suitable bid, if competitive bidding is required. In this regard, the county has suitable design standards, specifications, and quality assurance procedures in place to assure that the resulting road maintenance projects are properly constructed with suitable materials and that appropriate safety and environmental procedures will be utilized. The county representative is hereby expressly authorized to certify to such. It is further the finding of this Commissioners Court that Wilson County will utilize generally accepted cost accounting practices in the financial aspects of this grant administration, and that proper documentation of all expenditures will be maintained by the appropriate county officials responsible for financial aspects of the grant administration. The county representative is hereby expressly authorized to certify to such. It is the further finding of this Commissioners Court that with the following exceptions, all road right-of-way involved in projects identified as funding under this grant is presently within the county road maintenance inventory, and no new right-of-way except as noted is required. None. The county representative is hereby expressly authorized to certify to such. It is the further finding of this Commissioners Court that Wilson County will notify all public utilities, water supply corporations, and common carriers of record of their plans to repair, renovate, or construct the project roads identified in the grant application, and will cooperate with the said utilities and common carriers for protection of such infrastructure. It is not anticipated that any relocation of these utilities will be required. The county representative is hereby expressly authorized to certify as such. It is further the finding of this Commissioners Court pursuant to 40 CFR, Section 1500, and specifically Section 1508.4, Super 33 USC, and Section 1344 FLB and C county road maintenance projects are not prohibited by the National Environmental Protection Act, NEPA, nor the Water Pollution Prevention and Control Act. And that as a categorical exclusion, such projects pose no significant effect on the human or natural environment, and which this court finds to have no such adverse impact and therefore do not require an environmental impact assessment of the projects contemplated in this grant, and that no federal funds are being used by the county in meeting the grant requirements. The county shall comply with applicable state environmental standards as applicable, such as 32 C, Section 111.147, and as such, this finding further also authorizes the county representative to make certifications regarding compliance with environmental requirements of the grant is expressly approved by the Commissioners Court. This is the further finding of this Commissioners Court that as a public roadway open to all residents for use of the public road designed for vehicular traffic as defined by statute and other applicable law, that the road projects subject to this grant are in full compliance with the Texas Accessibility Standards and the Americans with Disabilities Act and access standards as the same may apply. And the county representative hereby expressly authorized to certify the same. Finally, it is the further finding of this Commissioners Court that where necessary any materials required for the completion of this project shall be solicited by a standard that is known to be suitable for use in road construction and repair projects, and that the county will require such testing as may be deemed appropriate to determine that such materials meet any applicable standards either by specification or by direct inquiry, and the provider or vendor of such materials. The county representative is hereby expressly authorized to certify to such. And when Ms. Farah, Commissioners Court of Wilson County Authority of Texas, pass and approve this resolution and agreement, therefore set our hands on this 27th day of July.
Be tired? Okay.
Judge, can you repeat that?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Hyde.
No, it's just, Larry beat me to it.
Oh, okay. Okay, we've got a motion and a second, and we've got the resolution read. Is there any more questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we have.
Thank you.
Commissioners, when y'all come to the courthouse next time, y'all need to sign this resolution.
Where will it be?
It will be in Eva's office.
Okay.
Okay, we've got that. Now we're going to agenda item number 7, Mission Dale Jackson County Judge, Bennett Trevino County Auditor, discuss and take possible action on repairs and upgrades to county jail control system.
Thank you, Judge. What I'm passing out, and Commissioner Wiley, Commissioner Hayek, as soon as court is over, I will email you the same thing. So back in January, oh, that one's for the sheriff. You don't have another copy. Back in January, a company came out and spoke with Paul Toma over jail maintenance, and Liz Silvas, our jail administrator, to look at the control panel that we have in the jail that was installed back in 1994, I believe, and gave some pricing on an upgraded system. Also around that time, probably February, March timeframe, if you remember, I was in some heavy-duty renegotiation of our federal prisoner per diem rate, in which we were successful in renegotiating that rate for the next 3 years. So at that time, over the last month or so, I did some additional research. I met with that company that came out back in January. And then I also met with another company that does similar repair work. And they came out and were significantly less expensive than, by $251,000 to be exact, than what the original proposal was to repair and upgrade the jail control panel. Judge Jackson and I met with Chapman to review the proposal to make sure we were comparing apples to apples. What I also found out was I contacted the first company, and I found out that they actually they're a subcontractor of a third-party contractor, and so that is probably the reason for such a significant change in the difference in the proposal. So we went to Kathy to receive her blessing on the proposal. You'll see a single source letter attached to it as well, because the system is outdated and the original company is no longer operating. The total price is $189,775, and that includes a total repair and upgrade of the system. Another benefit also that we have is the gentleman by the name of Bob Brown, who was the installer of the original system back in 1994, now works for this security system and will be very actively involved in this repair and upgrade of this current system as well. And so because this was not technically a budgeted item for this fiscal year, we have additional revenue sitting in our federal per diem income. Rate increase began in April, so as of April 1st, and we have more than enough now in that bucket to offset this expense, and so that's where I will be pulling the money from, and that's what that money is designed for as well, to do things like this.
Okay, question or comment, what this might be? The sole source letter. These people are coming in and they're repairing they're repairing, replacing, upgrading what's, anybody else would come in would be replacing, correct?
Or subcontracting
Or
someone to replace it, yes.
but they would be replacing. These people are repairing and
Repairing what they can
upgrading
repair,
what they've
utilizing some of the existing field wire as described there, and then providing some pieces would be new.
okay.
Yeah.
But they're more or less the sole source.
They're
They're working with what's there.
Right, the letter, and as it states at the end of the letter, is that they're self-performing the installation, testing, and training to all the new staff, which the first company, that's something that we would have to deal directly with the third-party company to subcontract the original company to do it.
That would be, replacing that, main control board?
Yes, sir, and that is correct. The company would pull out just that top panel and actually put a piece of plywood and turn it into like counter space, and then they would use all of that existing field wire. It also includes installation of all new intercoms, camera systems, video monitoring, And then the actual control panel is a touch screen, one touch screen monitor that controls the 74 different gated off lock entrances.
Maybe that's great, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. I apologize, I should have emailed this to you. I wasn't aware that you weren't here so that you could see all of the details, but all of the details are listed in their proposal.
But that's a big difference in price, like you said, with the third party.
That's the only thing I would assume. Kathy and I went through and compared apples to apples. You're not, it's the exact same branded of the, they call it the PLC, which is the brains of the operation. So there's nothing less. Actually, there's more that CML Security Systems is actually offering to do at a much lesser rate. So the only, I'm presuming that it's because they're having to subcontract. I don't know that for sure, but
That's a difference of $440-something thousand.
I know.
Yeah, it's
$188,900.
$251,000 difference.
Now, but the judge said that they're gonna be repairing.
Repairing and upgrading, so they're doing, it's a
But what if they
combination.
get into it and says they can't repair it, then it has to be another price?
No, this is all inclusive for complete repair and upgraded system. The reason they're calling it including repair in there is because they will use some of the existing components that are there that are usable in the process of upgrading.
Okay, over here on page 3, it's actually further back, I guess, which has it, but we shouldn't be paying any taxes, right?
That is correct. What
Because
page are
it
you on?
says Bond, tax, and freight, this does not include.
Yes, but you'll see the second sentence says if a tax exemption certificate is not provided, we're not responsible for the tax. And also wanted to follow up, Kathy had me request reference checks as well because of the substantial price difference. They sent me about 20 different references, including multiple surrounding counties. So I contacted those counties. Comal County, Aransas County, and Calhoun County were the three that I called directly and spoke with. They all had positive things to say about this company. They said that their staff is very knowledgeable and they're very timely as well. So they all highly recommended CML Security.
They're contradicting themselves there. This says the total price includes, and this says the price does not include.
Exactly.
Is that same page?
Yes.
Third page, where it says final total, and then the total project price includes 8.5% sales tax and bond, and then one says, no, it does not.
No, it says exclude, Judge.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, it says exclude.
It excludes tax,
Okay.
and
okay.
if we needed to be, if we were gonna be charged tax, I would provide them a tax exemption certificate. But because they have worked with many, many counties, that's why they did not include tax, because they already know that we are a government entity that would not do tax.
Well, I think we need that new system. I mean, that system that's there is already old. To upgrade it, and since we have money coming in from the federal prison, I think that would be a great idea to do.
I was just concerned about the price difference, that's my only
Yeah.
concern, you know?
And you already did a research on it, so.
You know, when you bid something out or get something that different, even bidding a second party or third party, that's a big difference in price.
And I didn't let the first company know what the second price was. I didn't feel that was my place to do that. And I asked our counsel, what would my answer be if the first company calls me back and says, hey, you know, what's the status? And she said, we simply tell them that we chose to go with the company at a lesser rate.
Well, I make a motion to go ahead and upgrade the county jail control system.
Motion by Commissioner Gomez.
I'll second.
The lightest one was Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Wiley. Is there any more questions or discussions?
Do we need to say the
The
company?
only other comment I would make, and really just to Sheriff Tackett as well, the turnaround time, we're looking at probably about 8 to 12 weeks from the time that they start the build of it to completion time. And so, just to kind of give you that heads up, within, upon approval, within 2 weeks is when they would start.
And this, we're trying to get done in this fiscal year.
That is correct. The funds will come out of this current fiscal year's budget against the federal per diem fund,
Okay.
not fund.
Motion and a second, any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we've got a new system at the jail. Okay, moving along to agenda item number 8, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, Jalen Bonner, Human Resource. Discuss and take action on approving COVID-19 guidelines for employees.
Okay, a few of us met a little over a week ago. It was the judge, myself, Brenda, Tom Caldwell, and Michelle, to discuss some guidelines that are needed within the county. More so for a reference, if an employee were to come down with the virus or they're sick and need some kind of guidance as far as where to go from the point that they're at. The guidelines, I did a checklist that will be going out to all department heads and elected officials. They will use that checklist to determine what they need to do, and upon further guidance, I can step in and decide what needs to happen from there. I do want to make note that if it is determined that an employee does not need to be tested because their level of exposure was not as great as once thought, the county will not pay for testing. The county is only paying for testing if it is approved. Furthermore, for the most part, this is happening already. The employees that we have had that have been affected, the department heads or elected officials have called my office, and they have been talked to, and we have discussed what needs to go on from there, and it follows these exact guidelines. Again, the county will pay for testing if it is approved by us. And also make note that an employee, if we are forcing a quarantine on an employee, the employee will have to use all emergency leave or all catastrophic leave. After that is done, the county will pay the employee because we are forcing the quarantine. If we did not force the quarantine, we will not be paying. They will have to use their own time.
So we're gonna require only one test let's say an individual come down positive, they're 14 days in quarantine, one test to be cleared, once they get cleared.
My deal is if a doctor releases them, whether they test or not, whether they've been quarantined if they've been quarantined for 14 days, that's the amount. And the doctor says, hey, they're good to go back to work, they're good to go back to work.
What if they're not under care of a doctor?
Yeah, most of them aren't under care of doctor, they're just tested positive, sit at home for 14 days.
I would say after 14 days and one negative test should suffice. I would
Okay, do
not-
we have to test again, or we just do the 14 days?
I would test one time again.
Okay.
Because there have been.
I agree with that.
There have been cases where employees outside of the county have retested to return to work, and the virus is still in their system, and it's still showing it's positive, so they haven't been able to return until they get a negative result. How accurate that is, I don't know.
Okay. Because if you wait 14 days and test, and then wait another 4 days, there's 18 days. Because some of these tests are coming back for 72, 96 hours. They're saying they're getting better. Some are getting better and some aren't.
One of the things also to keep in mind, I know Jalen and I discussed this in the meeting as well, is that if it's determined that that employee is going to go get tested and it is not a rapid result test, they have to stay home until we get those results. And as the time would be paid according to what Jalen said, use of emergency leave, catastrophic leave, and then county leave while they're waiting.
Okay, when the 14 days start when they come back with a positive test? Or does
Yes.
it come back to the day they tested?
The positive test, the result.
Okay, that's when the 14 days starts, or does it go back and start
I
the
was
day they
saying the
tested?
date of
'Cause
the
that's when-
quarantine.
Oh,
Because I'm talking time here, because we can stretch this out into, several weeks.
yeah.
The way testing is going now,
Leanne, do you have input on that?
when you've got
Not sure
a
you
mandate
want
that you have to test.
So public health, the last couple of conference calls, they were not encouraging, requiring a negative test result to come back to work. They look at 14 days. People are told to quarantine for 14 days from the onset of symptoms. Or 10 days from the date they tested positive. End of story.
Which goes to that 4 days prior.
So they're supposed, if say they test today, and the results don't come back till Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday, the 10 days starts from today. And then in 10 days, they should be, if they're still symptomatic, no, they should still be staying home, but they should be,
Yeah.
show no symptoms.
And I
So,
think it's important that we have some consistency county-wide, just because there may be times, and I know from this morning we were just having this conversation, where she's not kept in the loop when an employee is either awaiting results out because they're positive, et cetera, and all of that information needs to be funneled through Jalen or to Jalen for these very reasons. We need to be able to stay on top of it. She does.
Oh, I agree, we need to have some kind of guideline for her.
And HR, if anything needs to be, HR can vary from this or implement other actions that may need to be taken.
Yes, I think it was also discussed that if Jalen determines that the employee does not need to be tested or does not need to be quarantined, they can still test, but it'll be out of their own pocket. The official can determine that as well, the official can pay for it or whatever, but based on the guidelines that Jalen has set, the county is not going to cover the cost of any test unless it's approved by Jalen.
And I'll add for grant purposes that it is important for Jalen to be in the know because the payroll and what's allocated to what type of leave affects the COVID grants.
Don't, number one, all that, shouldn't you have yes and no? Does employee have these symptoms?
You're just checking the box for the ones that they do have,
What if they have neither one?
then don't check in there.
Okay, question on, if we're changing to what Leanne said on 5, then it says you've tested positive, you have to quarantine 14 days. Do we need to put that on here?
Change it to 10.
Change it to 10 from the date of the test?
Is that right?
I'm good with it.
He's saying that the wording
I
says now.
haven't seen what y'all are proposing.
It's number 5.
Actually, number 4, right?
Number 4?
What it says about the 14 days. All 5 does Washington.
Number 4.
I've got the cleanest hands I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, they were saying 10 days, and I can confirm it.
She said 10.
What's that?
She said 10.
I can
And-
confirm it.
And that's all, just change it to 10? Looks like what we can do, we can just say that, and then we can pass it.
So we're not gonna require a negative test?
Yes, I would make it say we require to do that.
I disagree with that because of the time constraints.
What the time
Public health
is,
said requirement.
No symptoms and 10 days from the time of the test.
that doesn't mean they don't have it, just because they don't have symptoms.
So the question's gonna be then, Paul, is if at the 10th day,
They go get retested.
they go get retested, and it's gonna take 3 or 4 days for us to get those
Very
results, so
possible.
they're still out until we
And
get.
that's what we're doing, 10 days instead of the 14 days.
It ended up being 14 days or more. And we've been taking them over there to the new clinic. and it's
Has
pretty
anybody
rapid.
talked to public health and got their
They're finding out right
recommendations?
away.
Okay, what DSHS is recommending is not having to retest. And then, again, every test is gonna be about $180.
No, it's $50, right?
At the emergency clinic, it's $50.
It's $50?
Yeah.
That's the total?
Yeah.
For every time they go.
The problem with the emergency clinic is that, I have personally have had to go every time somebody has to test in order to pay with it with my credit card, because they just started doing this 2 weeks ago. They're not set up for direct billing to the counties and so forth. So it's not, because each individual person is a different account. The only options were to have the employees pay out of pocket and then we reimburse them, or put it on a county credit card for each individual person. So I had to go leave my credit card over there, leave it while everybody was testing, then go pick it up on the weekend, bring it back, and then found out we had to go test more people, so I had to take my card back over there. So until I can get, some kind of billing with that company, I'm not sure how, how much more we would use them. I will say that we are in the process of getting a whole bunch of test kits, to keep on hand for our, jail staff and inmates that our nurse, on-site nursing will be administering those tests. Those are scheduled to be in this week sometime. And I know the judge and I kind of threw the night, ideas around about the possibility of using some of those. Those are not rapid tests, but they are 24 to 48 hour results. So just another option. So we just have to come up with a better accounting function for that emergency clinic. And I haven't called them to find out again if they have come any further on that. I just know it's a pain to have to drive over there to take my card every time somebody needs to get tested.
Where is that clinic?
It is on 181 where Caparelli's was in front of McCoy's. It's the emergency clinic of Floresville. And they're starting to get busier. When I went in there last week to get my card, they had several employees from Pioneer in there waiting to get tested as well. So
I'll make a motion that we approve these guidelines, change the 14 days to 10 days, but keep the test. They must have a negative test before they come back.
I second
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Did y'all hear that? Only thing, and y'all don't have these with you, I don't think.
I emailed them to them.
Number, what's that?
I emailed.
Oh, okay, y'all have that. On 5, on the employee guidelines, it's changed it from 14 days to 10 days.
Okay,
Okay?
got it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Do y'all have any questions? Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? I'm gonna abstain, because I would have not done the test. Did you get that, Eva?
yes.
Okay. Okay, moving to agenda item number 9, Leanne Hosek, EMC, 9A utility permit, 9A1 permit number 612, Southern Spring Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 2,
Yes.
County Road 404, review and approve.
Thank you.
Precinct 2?
Yes, sir.
That's you, Paul.
Yes, sir. I'll make a motion that we approve this permit. 612.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle,
Okay.
second by Commissioner Gomez, that we approve this. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we're going to 9A2, permit number 613, Shady Oaks Water, Precinct 4, Mariposa, Rimmer Lane. Review and approve. Okay, that's still Precinct 4 over there?
Yes.
Yes.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wiley, this is one of yours.
Yeah, it's, he's extending a water line, along the county right of way and then wanting to bore under the road. I don't have a problem with it, I make a motion we do it.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hyde. We approve this. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries.
Commissioner Wiley, I'm gonna need you to, come into the office and sign it next time you're.
I'll be there later today. What time will you be there?
I'm here the rest of the day.
Okay.
Some people work. Okay, we're going to 9B subdivision, Eden Crossing, Unit 7, B1, review and approve final plat. Discuss and take action. Get you taken care of now.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay, this is Eden Crossing, Unit 7, and there's a total of 31 lots.
You gonna put a bridge in on Crescent?
Yeah, it'll be similar to the other two that are in there. With the guardrail and all that.
This went before the committee and was approved.
Yes. Met all the requirements, and given a favorable recommendation.
don't know where you stand there, Judge, but I make a motion to approve it.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Larry, you can sign the plat too when you come by this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll be there sometime today. I'll take care of it.
And Commissioner Hyatt.
And then,
I'll be by today.
okay.
Okay, now we're going to 9B2, discuss and take action on acceptance of letter of credit, $215,430.
And that is the letter of credit for the construction of the roads and drainage infrastructure.
I make the motion we approve it, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hyatt. Okay, is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. So we have that.
Thank you.
Taken care of. Thank you. Okay, moving right along, agenda item number 10, Edwin Baker, Health and Public Safety. 10A, burn ban, discuss and approve lifting.
So, I was being optimistic,
Yeah,
didn't work out as well as I thought. Some areas got 3 inches, but for the most
Where?
part, it wasn't us. We got our 4 inches about a month ago, so.
yeah.
But anyway, the KBDI is at 500. If we lift it, we just have to turn around and put it right back on. So, I just say we don't do anything and just keep going as we are.
Agreed.
Okay. Good enough. We're gonna accept what we've got and pray that it does rain. Okay, moving along to agenda item number 11, Jan Hartle, County Treasurer, the financial report.
I passed them out to y'all this morning. Commissioner Wiley and Commissioner Hayek, I will send these to you after the meeting.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, if you just put them in the auditor's office, I can pick them up there.
Okay, I can do that.
I'm sorry, what was?
You want
I didn't hear it.
Do you want me to leave yours in the auditor's office or email yours,
Your report.
your report?
Oh, you just emailed me.
Okay, I'll do that. Interest isn't getting any better.
You gonna look into those dividends?
Yes.
Okay.
Jan, have we been receiving any less with all the trouble with fires and everything compared to last year, as far as revenues coming in?
Well, that's one thing I didn't look at this morning. I'd have to check that out and get, I'll email you.
I can tell you that we are ahead in ad valorem revenue. than what was budgeted.
So it hadn't hurt us,
No.
basically.
No.
Or not yet? Maybe next year?
Well, it's not sure, it's not on, as of right now, no. Of course, all of those taxes, they were paid before COVID hit, so.
I'll make a motion to accept the financial report.
Motion by Commissioner Gomez to accept the financial report,
Second.
second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Financial report.
Thank you.
Thank you. When y'all get a chance, if y'all will, stop by and sign this one also. Okay, agenda item number 12, Jalen T. Bonifant, Human Resource General Specialist, Payroll and Personnel.
I'm ready to get out of here.
All right. Maricela Rodriguez began working as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department on July 15th, making $14.65 per hour and $32,000 annually. Brian Trevino began working as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department on July 15th, making $14.65 per hour and $32,000 annually. And Curtis Wallace began working as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department on July 22nd, making $14.65 per hour and $32,000 annually. Audra Stewart resigned from her position as a part-time customer service specialist for the tax office effective July 10th. And Johnny Casillas resigned from his position as a part-time road hand for precinct 1 effective July 15th. One more that I need to make mention of, he started today, so he's not included on this one. Leighton York has been hired as our IT assistant director with John. Started today, and I will include him on the next one. He's at $45,000 annually as an exempt employee.
Would you say his name once again?
Leighton York.
Thank you, there was no line item changes, no nothing, so that was informational. We appreciate it. Okay,
All right.
moving to agenda item 13, Brenda Trevino, County Auditor, financial report and bills. We got financial reports.
No, these are bills. And my financial report is our proposed budget that's.
Okay.
If Brenda could put that in my mailbox in my office, please.
Yes, sir, I will. Total dollar amount, for accounts payable is $353,836.75.
And
Nothing really out of the ordinary.
the proposed budget will be on file in the county clerk's office before the 31st, on or before the 31st.
Probably paying you to approve those invoices.
Maybe I could get it.
Let's go.
Write it down.
They only pay some of it, 1040 a year.
Once I get it written.
Don't be
selfish, man. Only need 132.
Only.
You can give it 10,000. Make a motion, we accept the bill.
Motion by Commissioner Gomez, we accept the bill. Second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And y'all can stop by and sign this also. Eagle will have it. Oh, this motion passes. And looking at our new digital clock at 10:41, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.